as you've started this journey of building your personal brand and building a business off of your strengths and your passions, I'm curious, what has been some of your biggest challenges and how have you overcome them?
My biggest challenge I found was I suffered from burnout, I had a massive burnout because working full time, parenting, doing all the other stuff what comes with general day-to-day life, building online businesses. So I think the biggest challenge I've faced was managing my time where I'm also leaving time to switch off. I think it's really important to switch off because it's like, basically it's a marathon, not a sprint. So if you just go into it too fast, you end up burning out, and then you struggle with, once you kind of fallen off and you've burnt out, you need to fan those embers to get going again, and that can take some time. So I think yeah, definitely make sure to take some time to rest, even if it's a couple of days a week. Just make sure you have few hours doing relaxing, have a bath, go for a walk, do some exercise. You
For sure.
got to let your brain switch off, and
Oh, yeah.
that's one thing I've always struggled with. My brain doesn't stop, so I've so many ideas, and yeah, so it's been difficult to manage that, manage your time where you're being productive, but you're also not burning yourself out.
For sure. For sure. Man, I'd love to dive in a little deeper on this burnout because I feel like it's such a struggle and a challenge for us that are in this space because I feel like you're in this constant tension of being so hardworking, but forgetting to take care of yourself. Because I mean, it's so easy to do.
Mm,
I mean, a lot of my life up until very recently, when I got very focused and made a priority to find that rhythm of rest, I feel like it's
yeah.
so essential for us to do that. But I'm curious to dive in and get your thoughts a little bit more on burnout. What does burnout mean to you, and how would you describe your current relationship with it?
Well, what happened for me was I started having anxiety attacks,
Yeah.
or just out of the kind of out of the blue, really. So this was, I'd say, 3 years ago. I remember one day I was in the shower and I literally just had like a panic attack. My first ever panic, just out of nowhere. And I was like, really, it was a strange feeling. I don't know if you've ever had a panic attack,
Yeah.
but just like a wave of emotion
Mm.
just came over me, and I was just like, I was in, yeah, I was on holiday at the time, in the shower on holiday,
Man.
and I know what it was. I was just non-stop. Just, I think at the time I was doing Amazon. I had an Amazon business for a while. I was doing Amazon, working full time on holiday. I don't know. It all got to me, and my body just said no, basically. So yeah, my brain said no and just shut my body down, and it took a long time. It's a long time to recover. I ended up learning a lot about neuroscience and psychology, and kind of understood, and I started to understand really
Mm.
what caused it.
Yeah, for sure. Man, and first off, I'm always grateful for people that share the vulnerability and the side of that
Yeah,
because it's not especially being online. It's so easy for us to just put up our success, our wins, win, 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 and I
yeah,
always appreciate when someone shares that vulnerability. And I can relate 100%. I remember when I started dealing with anxiety, probably it got to its worst like, all at once, and it was definitely a reflection of burnout. Because for me,
mm,
like, early 2020, so, like, right before we went into lockdowns for the pandemic, I was working a
mm,
full-time job, I was about to be a father, so, like, my wife was pregnant, we were planning for that, and we
yeah,
got into a space where it was like, I was gonna be stay-at-home dad, and but at the same time, I knew something else is in me. Like, you got that entrepreneurial spirit. At the time, I hadn't really started out. Like, I started my podcast in 2018. So I was like kind of podcasting, but nothing super serious. And everything shut down. So, like, I wasn't like serving every Sunday at my church. So that kind of went away. But I was helping produce like the online stuff because I went to college for music production. So, like, I get where you're coming from in that space and I was
mm,
helping our sound guy produce a lot of our online. worship experiences. So I was doing that. I was into this full-time job still. Had a kid on the way, so we were planning that. We were like nesting and doing all those things
Oh,
while also the world's technically shut down. So I never had to leave work. And for someone who can be a workaholic, I was like, great. I never have to waste time to go to work. Work's right here. And I just like went in overdrive where a lot of people scaled back. I went to overdrive. And then sure enough, I went to overdrive and I actually left my full-time job to be full-time dad and try to start my own thing, which was a
yeah.
little early. Should have waited a little bit, but you live and learn. And a year into having him, so we like early 2021, and I was full time with him, like world starts opening back up. My wife goes back to her job as a hairstylist, and it's just me in this little bundle of life that I'm responsible for. I can remember like having to take walks and literally having panic attacks on those walks. I physically felt ill, even though it
Mm.
was all mental because my brain just couldn't shut off. So I definitely can relate to how a result of burnout is anxiety, and then you have to trail back. I'm curious, you battled that anxiety. What was some things that you might have think were the triggers for that? Like, can you identify any specific triggers or factors that contributed to your burnout?
Definitely. Not taking care of myself, trying to do too much, not finding time to see my friends and see myself kind of just full on. So just not finding time to do the things you enjoy, you know. Those things that you when you were a young child, what did you enjoy? Sometimes you gotta go right back to your childhood and just start doing those things what you enjoyed. So yes, but spending too much time doing things I wasn't particularly joyful about. And also something just slightly out of the box as well. Not not breathing properly because
That's a good one.
I've learned a lot about
That's a
breathing.
good one.
Yeah, that Andrew Huberman.
Yeah,
He's
he's
yeah, that yeah, really good stuff. So once I've learned, I feel like I've really improved at breathing, and that makes such a difference. Like breathing through your nose and not stopping mouth breathing, and that really helped. I definitely recommend to just spend time to watch a few Andrew
yeah.
Huberman videos. They're great.
Andrew
Really,
Huberman,
really
Wim
good.
Hof. There's a few great ones out there, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's a highly recommend that because if you can both focus on your breathing and learn to breathe properly, man, that's such a life changer, and I can agree. That's
it
really
really is. Take it
one
for
of the
granted,
things.
every breath. Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
that oh, man.